kind of discussion amongst the ulama. However, I'd say in this issue that it is safer, it is better for you to, if you happen to touch a private part with your hand, is to remake your wudu. And then there's absolutely no doubt bi'idhnillah ta'ala with regards to your purification. Wallahu a'lam.
Jazakallah khair, Shaykh. We have our next caller on the line right now. So, assalamu alaikum to our brother or sister. Welcome to the show. What's your name and where are you calling from? MashaAllah, what's your name? Say that again?
I can't hear you properly.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
All right then. What's your question?
Since coronavirus started, and we go on every Thursday, 8 o'clock, people clap for the NHS working hard. Is that haram to do?
Okay then. Thank you so much for your question. Do you have another one? Okay, Shaykh. So, is clapping during 8 o'clock haram?
Yeah, so it's being the practice here in the UK for everybody really to show their support for all the nurses, doctors, and working in the NHS. Every Thursday night at 8 p.m. To go out and show their appreciation and support for the great work that they are doing. And as Muslims, we have to recognize that when good work, essential work is being done, that we recognize that and we're part of that. And if you feel, because the issue with clapping, are you allowed to clap as a Muslim? Some of the ulama permit the clapping if it is part of encouragement. Okay, if there's clapping for encouragement, then some of them allow that. Others don't. They prefer not the clapping because it used to be the practice of the polytheists when they used to do their worship, was part of their worship when worshipping idols was to be clapping. Some of the ulama dislike for you to do that. However, if it's part of encouragement, then I don't see a problem, inshallah ta'ala. Okay, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to allow all those doing the good work to continue that good work and keep them safe, keep us all safe. And we hope that, inshallah ta'ala, the situation improves sooner so that we can get back to a new normal, which will be better for everybody, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala.
Jazakallah khair, Shaykh. We're going to go now to our next caller. Assalamu alaikum to our brother or sister. Welcome to the show. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Nasruddin. I'm calling from London.
Welcome to the show, brother. How are you today?
I'm fine, alhamdulillah. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How's your fasting? How's your Ramadan so far?
It's going really well, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. And your question?
I've got two questions, actually.
That's fine, you can go ahead.
First of all, I would like to ask if it is permissible to cook food as a chef in a restaurant that handles unhalal food and alcoholic beverages. And my second question is it halal to do a career in boxing, as I heard that it is haram to strike someone in the face?
All right. Your first question, did you say serve? Is it halal to serve or work?
To cook.
To cook. Sorry, to
Yes.
work as a chef, right? To cook at a
Yes.
restaurant. All right then, understood. All right then, thank you so much for your call, Nasruddin. So the brother asked, is it halal, or is it permissible to be a chef at a restaurant that serves haram food and alcohol?
So if you're working in a restaurant which is primarily, or the majority of what they're selling is haram food for us, as a Muslim, for us to consume, then I would strongly encourage you to maybe find alternative employment, because serving such an amount of haram food is problematic. So if that is the case, then may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make a way from you to find something more suitable, inshallah.
And brother also asked about the sport of boxing and striking to the face.
Yeah, so you heard right, that the Prophet ﷺ forbade us to strike people in the face. So therefore, boxing in hitting people in the face from an Islamic point of view is not allowed. That doesn't mean that you can't go to a boxing gym. You want to keep fit, you want to do all the training that's involved in boxing and things like that, that's absolutely fine. And even, you want to spar with others, but kind of not striking the face, when the person says, well, it kind of defeats the object of boxing. But the idea is that, we don't want to hurt anyone, we don't knock anybody out. If you want to train for it, then by all means go ahead and do that. But striking people in the face is, from an Islamic perspective, is not allowed.
Jazakallah khair, Shaykh. Thank you to all of our callers that have called so far. We are still going to be live here, brothers and sisters, for the next 45 minutes up until 7 p.m. So if you have any questions, you want to give us a call, just dial 0203 515 0769. You can also send us your questions to our WhatsApp number and our YouTube live stream at the comment section. So inshallah, all the details you need to ask your questions are coming and going at the bottom left side of your screen throughout the live show, inshallah. So Shaykh, we're going to move on to our next question, which is from WhatsApp. And the question is, could I ask the Shaykh about witr salah? As we can hold Mus'haf during Taraweeh Salah, can we read from the Mus'haf during our Witr Salah?
Mm-hmm. So, the holding of the Mus'haf in the Nawafil prayers, the ulama have spoken about that. And they mentioned that if there is a need for it, maybe a person hasn't memorized much of the Quran, then they can hold the Mus'haf, the one who's leading the Salah. Now, that's with Taraweeh, where a person maybe wants to recite maybe a little bit longer than you usually do. Now, with Salat al-Witr, it might not, if you're praying one rak'ah or two rak'ah or three rak'ahs rather, and it's not necessarily that long. Maybe you want to recite قُلْ يَا أَيُّهَا الْكَافِرُونَ قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ, or even before that, سَبِّحِ اسْمَ رَبِّكَ الْأَعْلَى قُلْ يَا أَيُّهَا الْكَافِرُونَ قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ. If you haven't memorized those and you want to hold the Mus'haf, then you can. But if there's no need for you to, then you recite from your memory. So if there's a need, then you can, inshallah ta'ala. Otherwise, you recite from your memory. Wallahu a'lam.
Thank you, Shaykh. We're going to go now to our next caller. Assalamu alaikum to our brother or sister. Welcome to the show. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Amjad Beg. I'm calling from London.
MashaAllah, brother Amjad. How's your Ramadan going?
Alhamdulillah. Yeah.
Alhamdulillah. And your question?
My question is to do with zakat. I want to know, sorry, it's not zakat actually, it's interest money. I have an amount of interest money which I want to ask if that can be paid or rather if that money can be used to feed the poor without any intention.
All right then. Do you have any other questions?
No, just that one.
All right then. Jazakallah khair.
Okay, so with regards to interest, we clearly know from an Islamic perspective that it's haram for us to get involved in any transaction that has riba, which has interest usually. Now, if I have an account which is accumulating interest, I shouldn't, first and foremost, I shouldn't leave that with me. I shouldn't have that with myself for a long time. If I'm allowing that to stay with me for a year, 2 years, and it's, and it's accumulating to be, some largish amount, then I need to ask the question, why have I allowed it to build up for so long? If you have an excuse that you didn't know, or you were unaware, then you're excused. But if you have been keeping it for a long time, then it is something really you should avoid. If now you have found that amount and you want to get rid of it, then you find the quickest way, okay, of getting rid of that particular wealth. Get rid of it as soon as you can, without any delay. You will not be rewarded for that, because from an Islamic perspective, it's malun khabith. It is an unclean form of money. So therefore, some of the ulama, they prefer that, it should be used for unclean purposes. Meaning that if you put it into the charity box involved, which is in cleaning stuff, cleaning, I don't know, things that are bought for the masjid to clean the bathrooms, azakumullah, and things like that. Some of the ulama go to that extent to say that this unclean money should be used for these unclean things. If you're able to do that, and maybe the issue is a bit bigger than that, then just put the money into a place where you can forget about it as soon as you can, And if you decide to put it into just a general charity box, then you go ahead and do that, inshallah ta'ala. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect us from riba. Ameen.
Ameen, Shaykh. Thank you so much. Our next question is going to be from WhatsApp, and our question is, Assalamu alaikum. I think it's actually very similar. It's around the topic of interest. And the question is, if I work in a job where interest transactions are done and I'm involved in either entering or approving the payments on the system, am I committing a sin?
So if this is your only job, I mean, it's not clear what the job is. I mean,
Yeah.
you technically, if you're working in a bank, if you're working in a bank, this is problematic. If you're working in somewhere else and this represents a very small amount of the work that you are doing, then maybe the situation can be looked at again. So maybe if the question is made clear as to the exact nature of your job, your work, then maybe a clear answer can be given concerning that. Wallahu a'lam.
Thank you, Sheikh. Our next question is, if I pray with my spouse, can I give the iqama or does he have to do it?
So with regards to the adhan and the iqama, this is shuri'a al-rijal. This is legislated for the men and not for the women. So while at home, you make the adhan. We know the famous hadith that the Prophet ﷺ said to the shepherd man that when you're outside, make the adhan. For every single one who hears the adhan will be a witness for you on Yawm al-Qiyamah. And just as you are about to establish the salah, then of course, you make the iqamah before you're going to pray, and then you pray together. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept from me.
Thank you, Sheikh. Our next question is, if someone has been afflicted with the evil eye during Ramadan, is still feeling very low, can you advise how to help them? Okay, they're afflicted with evil eye and it's Ramadan.
No.
And they're still feeling low. How can they help themselves?
Yeah, so if a person feels that they've been afflicted with the evil eye, I mean, you should have this determined and not whether it's the case or not. If it is the case, then you ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to remove this test from you, to allow you to be patient, remember to keep up your obligations, to gain, get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as much as you can and make lots and lots of dua. If you're able to find out who the individual is, who the individual was, it may not have been intentional. That if they make wudu with water and then you can bath with that water, then this will help, inshallah ta'ala. This is found in the sound and authentic sunnah. If you don't know who the individual is, then your matter is with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You make dua to Allah Jalla wa ala and ask Him to make it easy and give you shifa if there is need. Wallahu a'lam.
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh. On the topic of the evil eye, Sheikh, it can be a very controversial one. So what are the facts of the evil eye?
Facts?
Yeah, and then so then we just know the limits of where do we take it, how much do we worry about it?
Yeah, so we know that the evil eye is a reality. The Prophet ﷺ informed us that it is a haqq, it is a reality, and that it can afflict anybody. And subhanallah, may Allah protect us, it could end up taking the life of a person, the evil eye. So therefore, the Prophet ﷺ told us in things or matters which will help us, protect us from causing the evil eye, in which it doesn't have to be ill-intended, by the way. It could be that a person sees something and doesn't ask Allah Jalla wa ala to bless that. So maybe an element of, unintentional kind of form of jealousy that comes in there. Yeah. So as the Prophet said, that if you see something from your brother that you like, then make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He subhanahu wa ta'ala blesses it, protects it, okay? So it is definitely a reality, and because of it is a reality, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect us from it, and we are wary of it. We don't just dismiss it. And if a person is afflicted with it, then no doubt it's a great test that the person should make lots of dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As I mentioned earlier, if a person knows the individual who did that, then they ask them to make wudu with the water, and then that water can be used for them to bathe with, in the hope that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will cure them and remove the evil eye. Wallahu a'lam.
And Shaykh, what can an individual do to be cautious of the evil eye? For example, ranging from adhkar to being cautious about what they show in public or they're discreet about.
Yes, very important. So the adhkar in the morning and the adhkar in the evening, very important for us to do, to ask and seek Allah Jalla wa ala's protection, but also not just to display everything that you're doing, okay, from small things that you're eating and wearing to your family, to your children, all these. If there's no need for you to display these things where people might have some ill intention towards you, then don't put that out in the open. There are certain things, private things, personal things which you should keep personal, you should keep private. Yes, social media is there to help share lots of good ideas and programs and whatnot, but there are certain things which really should remain private as a Muslim, so that you're not affected or afflicted by certain things. So therefore, there's no need, this is maybe a kind of a personal view, and is the view of many that I've had contact with it, placing pictures of your children and what you eat and brand new things that you have received, man, you should really keep them personal and not display them publicly. If you to show your family members and whatnot, then okay, that's fine, inshallah. But to put it public, really, this is something I would advise strongly against. Wallahu a'lam.
Jazakallah khair, Shaykh. Because there's so many people, Shaykh, that would be on social media that aren't as, privileged or blessed to have some of the things someone's displaying. Some people may not be able to have kids and they want kids.
Yeah.
And people are showing their kids a lot. You're putting yourself at risk.
Yeah, and not only at risk. The reality is, and it's an unfortunate reality, you can be doing charity work. Okay, you can be doing charity work, meaning that you are asking people to donate money to feed starving people, to house homeless people, some of the most vulnerable people on earth, that you go out there and just want to help those people, and then you display that work on social media to help these impoverished people. With that, there will be people who have bad words to say against the work that you are doing. Okay, this is good work. So imagine now, that maybe they're cheating, they're deceiving, and we don't know who they are. These are people, listen, there are millions of people on earth. These are people with Muslim names. Whether they're whoever's behind these names, we don't know, Allahu A'lam, but they have Muslim names. And it's like, even in Ramadan, you don't have a good word to say. Even in Ramadan, when the shayateen, they are locked up, even at this time, ما تمسك لسانك, you can't hold your tongue, you can't hold your fingers from writing something so crude, so wrong. And this is about good work. So this is what is out in the public domain. So therefore we need to be very, very careful about showing what is private within our own family, with our own household. We should be very, very wary of these things. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is best.
Jazakallah khair, Shaykh. We have a caller on the line, but I think we're going to take the call after our break. So brothers and sisters, we're going to take a short break now for a few minutes. We'll be back to take your calls and continue with our show, inshallah. So the number to call us on is 0203 515 0769. And if you'd like to send your questions, you can send them during the break, inshallah. For now, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to today's Ask Eman show, where we're going to be here with you, brothers and sisters, for the next 30 minutes live to take your questions and get them answered by our Shaykh today, Imam Wasim Kempson. So the number to call us on is 0203 515 0769. We're also taking questions on our WhatsApp number on 074 2239 8833. So, Assalamu alaikum, Shaykh. Welcome back after the break.
Assalamu wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I was going to say Shaykh Wasim, the wise Muslim, the wise believer.
Oh, yes, the Muslim, yes.
Okay, Shaykh. Our next question is from WhatsApp, and the question is it permissible to do masah on thin socks, even if water touches the feet?
So, the discussion, wiping over the socks, is a long discussion. I'm of the view that as long as the sock is fulfills the conditions that it covers all of your foot, it's above your ankle. So those small, you get those ankle socks that are below your ankle, you can't wipe over those.
Okay.
So the socks have to be above the ankle, fixed to your foot, and not see-through. Okay, they can't be see-through socks. If these conditions are fulfilled, then you can wipe over them, inshallah ta'ala. So, therefore, the question is, if you wouldn't wipe, you wipe over the sock, that some of that water may seep through and touch your skin, هذا لا حرج. There's no problem, inshallah ta'ala. Bearing in mind that there are some differences of opinion on this, but I'm of the view that you can do that, inshallah ta'ala, as long as it's not see-through, it covers your whole foot. And obviously, you're going to wipe over the sock, having put it on in the first place in a state of wudu, wallahu a'lam.
Thank you, Shaykh. Our next question is, I'm a person who used to be so close to Allah and fear anything and would do anything, and fear Allah and would do anything to please Allah. Now I skip my prayers. Please tell me what to do. I'm not happy anymore. My mum isn't happy. I try to make her happy, but she isn't happy. And I just got married to someone with love, but no, So it's just generally about falling off a little bit and getting back on your feet.
Sure. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for you. May Allah Azza wa Jal increase you in Eman. And there are always, troubled times in people's lives where their faith goes up and down. They feel stronger, they feel weaker. And when things are going well, sometimes we can be a little bit oblivious as to what am I doing right. Okay, so we may be looking at, I'm establishing my prayers, I'm establishing my obligations, and then that helps me, move on. So in turn, you find you can practice your faith, you can practice your Islam in a good way. So when you look back at the times that were good for you, look at the things that you were doing. And now if you think to yourself, well, times I'm not feeling so good at the moment, try to find out what things are missing. And I would say, and Allah knows best, the fact that if a person has kind of cut their link with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that the salah that you have 5 times a day is like a rope between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you cut that rope, then life inevitably will become difficult. Okay, life will become like this. Therefore, I would suggest that the first thing that you need to return to, inshallah ta'ala, to see an improvement in all of your situations is to re-establish your link with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Means that you need to start praying again. This is the very start. If you want to please your mother, you want to be happy in your marriage and happy with your family members, first and foremost, you need to do what pleases Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that means establishing the 5 daily prayers. There may be a little bit of a struggle at the beginning, but once you get on top of that, inshallah ta'ala, you will see an amazing change. And I'm sure that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will then, because you've re-established your link with Him, He will make things much easier for you and remove some of the burdens that you're feeling at the moment. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for you. Ameen.
Jazakallah khair, Shaykh. Part of the question was also, the sister explained she got married out of love and now she can't stand the person. No. So just in these situations, Shaykh, where individuals may connect, meet, and the basis and the foundation is like desire based on, love and stuff. and then Allah comes after that, maybe down the line a little bit.
Yeah.
Can this sometimes compromise the foundation of the longevity of the relationship, or it being able to, survive the long term?
Yeah, so I mean, answering this question, I want to deal with it in a couple of ways. The first one is with regards to the sister. I think it's the sister you're mentioning, right?
Yeah.
That, there are times when, or reasons why people get married, and some of it's because, they think that's the best thing for them. It's not necessarily based upon love, at the start at least, but the love can come later, okay? And then there are others who, they marry somebody because they think that they love that person, and then they go through some changes, real life sets in, and they think, oh, we're actually on different pages in our life. So what I would say is that I'm not here to, advise you in about 30 seconds or a minute what you should be doing with your life. I mean, it's not fair for me to do that. But maybe if you sit with somebody, speak with them as to kind of what the options you have, maybe things can be resolved, and the situation can be improved, inshallah ta'ala. That's the first part. In general terms, not specific to the sister at all, what I would say is that for everyone wanting to get married, okay, do not be deceived thinking that I love this person and I will find, ultimate happiness because I love this person. It's just because what you think is love may not be love. In fact, it may be a harmful love. Believe it or not, there's a harmful form of love, meaning that you love something or you love a person's traits, however, they are not in line with what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves. And it is very important for us that if we love a person, we love them for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We love them for the closeness and the respect and the honor that they give Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's the type of person that I should, as a Muslim, as a practicing Muslim, that I should be looking for. Okay? So I'm not saying that you put that to one side, that you don't be attracted to them and it's not important. Of course, it's very important. It's very important that you're attracted to that person, okay? But it is not the only issue that you're looking for. The Prophet ﷺ told us in a sound hadith for the men's side, that a woman is married for 4 reasons. And one of those reasons is لِجَمَالِهَا, for her beauty. For her beauty. However, the Prophet ﷺ said, فَظْفَرْ بِذَاتِ الدِّينِ تَرِبَتْ يَدَاكَ, that choose the one with religion that, in the meaning, is essentially what will make you happy. Because the religion, if it remains with a person, is what will beautify that person internally, and inshallah externally what you see. However, one's beauty, what you see, will come and go. Okay? You stay with them and when you're young, and if that's the only reason that you married them for, is whatever beauty Allah gave them when they were young, when they get old, that beauty will go. However, if you love them for what is in their heart, their character, their behavior, that has no age. It doesn't get old. In fact, it only gets better. And then you find yourself, you love that person for who they are, their whole essence, even how they look. Because subhanAllah, how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us is that you can love what is inside the person, and then somehow you're able to see and love what is on the outside. So this is a very important thing, and for this reason the Prophet ﷺ gave us advice to marry for the correct reasons. Wallahu a'lam.
Jazakallah khair, Shaykh. Thank you so much. We're going to go now to our next caller, that we have calling us on WhatsApp, mashallah. So for everyone watching at home, WhatsApp's also an option for you if you want to give us a call from there. If you're in the UK or outside of the UK, you'll be able to get through to us. So assalamu alaikum to our brother or sister. Welcome to the show. What's your name? And where are you calling from? One more time. Assalamu alaikum. We're just going to take a few seconds to fix that technical issue I think we're having at the moment. As soon as I'm told we can move on to the call, we will come to you straight away. So for now, I was actually going to say, Shaykh, that it's very interesting, subhanAllah, what you said about looks being temporary, but beautification and character only gets better. It's the opposite,
It's the opposite, that's right.
And you're right, subhanAllah, someone, if they're, let's put the term good looking on it, because everyone understands that. Let's say it starts from the teenage years or from there, and that's it, in your 30s you're going to start to wither away a little bit, right, Shaykh?
I don't know actually. I mean, everyone's different,
Everyone is different.
Some people actually look better when they get older.
That is true, actually. There's the term aging well.
But that's the exception.
The general
to the rule.
idea. But subhanAllah, character just keeps beautifying a person.
Yeah.
Increases love, but again, it has to be in line with what the Prophet taught us what character
You're
is.
right. I mean, on top of that, if we can say is that because the character of the Prophet ﷺ, when Allah Jalla wa Ala says, وَإِنَّكَ لَعَلَى خُلُقٍ عَظِيمٍ, that you are upon a great character. Your manners, your behavior is absolutely supreme, exemplary manners. If a person has that, then you will find that everybody who meets them will love them. Everyone who met An-Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam loved him, or eventually ended up loving him. Even though because there were some people who had things in their heart, attachment to their tribes or to their false deities or whatever the case may be. But many of those many of those enemies who at the beginning of the call of Islam, so many of them later on embraced Islam. And that was because of the great character, first and foremost because Allah Jalla wa Ala guided them. But also, as an important point, is to see how the Prophet ﷺ was a person, as a person. Wallahu a'lam.
Thank you, Shaykh. I think we're ready to take our caller now. So, assalamu alaikum to our brother or sister. Welcome to today's show. What's your question for us, inshallah?
My question here.
Yeah, you can go ahead.
Okay, my question is, what's the best way that if somebody did a witchcraft or they deal with a shaman, it's called a shaman.
Could you speak into the microphone a bit better or closer, brother? Yeah, I think we could have lost the call. Apologies. The connection was really bad, but what I caught, Shaykh, was just around black magic.
Right.
The brother wants some advice. If you're afflicted, something's happened, how do you deal with it?
Yeah, so as for us as Muslims, we believe this is a reality. We know it's a reality, that there will be people who perform witchcraft and whatnot, and sihr, magic. And if that is done towards a person, it is a grave sin, by the way, for any Muslim to do that. Could get to the stage where the person has exited Islam for performing such an action.
But if going to someone to perform it,
that's a major problem. Yeah, it's a grave sin. So if you feel that you've been afflicted, I would go to a trusted raqi. I would go to a trusted individual who can give you some knowledge and a program, diagnose exactly the issue that you have, so that بإذن الواحد الأحد, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can allow you to get through the situation. So go to a trusted person. There are many untrusted people out there, many charlatans. Be very careful of them. Take lots of money, large sums of money, to do things which are not from the Quran and Sunnah in any way, shape or form. Okay, these people need to be avoided and exposed. And people who practice the Sunnah in ilaj, in curing people through the Quran and Sunnah, should be recommended, so that the correct practices can be then given to the people, so that bi'idhnillahi ta'ala then get through these trials. Wallahu a'lam.
Jazakallah khair, Shaykh. Thank you so much for your answer. Thank you to the brother. Sorry we lost your call there. The connection was just a bit bad. I think you were maybe calling from very far away. We're going to go to our next caller now. So, assalamu alaikum to our brother or sister. Welcome to the show. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Wa alaikum salam. My name is Sulaiman. I'm calling from Tanzania, East Africa.
Allahu Akbar. All the way from Tanzania. MashaAllah. We have a very, very dear brother at the back here, one of our producers, Abu Bakr, who is asking me to say to you, habari yako. Did I say it properly?
Of course, yeah. Habari yangu ni njema, and how we should answer that?
MashaAllah. Okay. I'm getting a live translation. I was told you said you're well. Alhamdulillah. So, brother, how's your Ramadan going so far?
It's going very well. Alhamdulillah. We do thank Allah for this opportunity, because many people wanted to have this opportunity, but they didn't. In one way or another, maybe they are in their grave right now, or they are in their, bed in the hospital.
Very true. I've heard that the coronavirus has just reached Tanzania, so we ask Allah to protect our brothers and sisters in Tanzania, to keep you all safe, and to protect your families and keep you strong during this difficult time. So, brother, what's your question for us today?
Before asking any question, I would like to tell you that I'm a big fan of Shaykh Wasim Kempson.
MashaAllah.
Been following him in social medias. I really love Shaykh Wasim Kempson.
Barakallah fik.
I'm in that club too, brother. I'm in that club too.
May Allah bless you and your family, brother. Jazakallah khair. Habbakallah.
Shukran, shukran. My question is, can a person from another religion, apart from Islam, enter Jannat Firdaus if he only fulfills the conditions that Allah mentioned in Surah Al-Baqarah, ayah 62?
Okay, mashallah.
ليس البر أن تولوا وجوهكم. No, be after that.
Do you know the verse itself in the wording, just so we can get right to it? Otherwise, we might need to quickly look at it. You okay?
No, it's okay without us.
You good with that, Shaykh?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Okay then, we're good to go.
Yeah. So, if a person, I start again. Allah Ta'ala makes very clear to us in the Quran those people who will enter the paradise, the characteristics, what they believed in, what they stood for, they will enter the paradise. And those people who will enter the hellfire are also made clear as to the characteristics and what they rejected and what they did not believe in. Okay? So our guidance concerning these matters, who goes to paradise and who's to hellfire, is not in our hands, it's not for me to say, but rather we take this from the Quran and the Sunnah. Now, if a person says, La ilaha illallah, Muhammadan Rasulullah, dakhala fil Islam, they enter into Islam, and remembering that the key to Jannah, the key to paradise, is a person to say this kalima, to say this phrase, to believe in this phrase. And then, bi'idhnillah ta'ala, they fulfilled the conditions to enter into paradise. Okay? So just as a person has to fill in a visa form, if they want to go into a certain country, okay, you need to fill in a visa. These are the kind of, maybe you need so much money in your bank, you need to, these are the rules and the regulations of our country, and then you sign it, I agree to this. You're given a visa, you can go to that country. Okay, if you don't fulfill the visas, the conditions to the visa, then you can't go to the country. There are conditions, shurut, for you to enter into Jannah. And from those conditions is to say, La ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasulullah. I say none is worthy of worship except Allah, and Muhammad is the messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If a person fulfills that, then inshallah ta'ala they can go to Jannah through Allah Azza wa Jalla's mercy. They may be a very good person, a very generous person, a very noble person, but if they do not say La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah, if they don't fulfill this condition, according to the Quran, it says that the person cannot go to the paradise. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is best. May Allah Azza wa Jalla grant us thabat, steadfastness upon the deen.
Thank you, Shaykh. Thank you, brother, for calling us from so far away, mashallah. We also had the brother before that, I think Shaykh was from the USA somewhere, by his accent, mashallah.
Yes,
so may Allah bless everyone who's tuned in. Okay, so we have more callers on the line now. So, assalamu alaikum to our brother or sister. Welcome to the show. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Brother, my name's Tanveer. I'm from Bradford.
MashaAllah. How are you today, brother?
Alhamdulillah, I'm fine, brother. I'm fine.
Alhamdulillah. And your question?
My question is, well, actually, I've been offered a delivery job, yeah? Now, in that delivery job, it's going and collecting groceries. Now, for the people who go out and they make the order, and in them groceries, it could be anything from pork, ham, alcohol. I've got to go there, collect the groceries, and then go deliver them. Is it permissible for me to actually go and do that kind of job?
Okay.
Yeah, what I'd say, because he has more than one question, I think, that there are many, it's probably one supermarket, okay, and they have orders, and the vast majority of what you're delivering is going to be halal, okay? So therefore, you being a delivery person in this job is permissible for you, inshallah ta'ala.
Yeah, so I can go there, basically go and pick the stuff up. I've got to do the shopping, get the shopping for them, put them in the basket, and then put them in my bag, and then go take them. So I'll be fine with that, yeah?
Yeah, whether it's at this end of the chain, then that's also fine, inshallah ta'ala.
That's fine. That's all our question. Thank you very much, my brother.
Barakallah.
Thank you so much, brother, for your call. May Allah bless you, brother Tanveer from Bradford. We're going to move on now to our next caller. Assalamu alaikum to our brother or sister. Welcome to the show. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is I'm calling from London.
MashaAllah, what was your name again?
Nuh.
Nuh, MashaAllah, that is a great prophet's name. And Nuh alayhi salam is one of the best prophets that ever lived. May Allah bless you. So you know you have a big responsibility to live up to that name, right?
Yes.
MashaAllah. So how's your Ramadan going so far? Have you fasted any days? Have you fasted 2, 3? How many have you done so far?
It's 2 so far.
2, MashaAllah. That's a lot. That's a lot. I remember when I was your age. How old are you again?
To do more, inshallah.
MashaAllah. How old are you?
8.
8. You know what? When I was 8, I don't think I've done so many days as you so far in the middle of Ramadan. So that's really good. May Allah reward you and give you strength. So what's your question for us today?
My question is, if you're Muslim, is it haram to participate in your class nativity or Christmas nativity?
MashaAllah. You know, we start getting loads of these questions towards the end of the year, so you've beat everyone to it. So we're going to answer your question, inshallah. Do you have any more questions?
No.
Okay,
Alhamdulillah, that's it.
you can either stay on the phone or you can watch on your TV, and the Shaykh will answer that for you right now.
So
It's a bit early,
yeah,
but
well, we're assuming that children will be back in school in December as well.
yes, inshallah, inshallah.
Yeah, so what I would say is that each school has their own policy, and as parents, we should engage positively with all of our schools. And if there are things which may, appear months ahead, I would highly recommend that you speak to the school months and months in advance. It can be quite sensitive when, acting jobs or responsibilities have been given in particular plays. Your son has been chosen as the star of the show. And then you suddenly say, no, I'm a Muslim and I can't do that. And then the school is left, well, what's happening? Suddenly come out of the blue. What I would say is that here, mashallah, we're hitting the summer 6 months ahead. Okay? If you have a concern, speak to your school and ask them, do you have nativity plays in your school? Okay? And if they do, and if you know that they do, don't ask if they do, because it's a silly question. You know that they do. You just say, listen, I know that there's a nativity play at the end of the year. I would prefer if my son or my daughter would not participate in that. Can there be some form of flexibility in that? And engage with them early. So it's a very good time to ask the question. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you and preserve us all. Ameen.
Ameen, Shaykh. So thank you so much to young brother Noah, mashallah. I was trying to remember his name, and how could you forget a name like that, mashallah. Okay, so our next question is going to be from WhatsApp, unless we have any more calls, which I don't believe we do at the moment. Our next question, Shaykh, is, I'm doing Tawbah right now, but I find that I have a love for a particular sin. How do I hate it other than making dua?
So this can be a common question, and it can be something which a lot of people don't actually like to ask. And that I see that there is a sin, but I like the sin. And I kind of make tawbah. I say astaghfirullah. However, the reality is that if I still love the sin, I'm not really doing anything to distance myself from that sin. I'm happily doing it. I'm not happily doing, but I'm kind of just doing it when I'm doing it. And I just say astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah. You have to really question yourself. Be a little bit strict with yourself as to the sincerity or the strength of the tawbah or the istighfar that you're making. Now, there are times in a Muslim's life where we need to be encouraged with hope. And then there are times where a Muslim needs to be encouraged, well, not encouraged, but maybe to fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Maybe you're in a situation where you need to remember, be taught about the punishment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if you feel kind of easy about these sins. Otherwise, you have a good balance between the two, but there are times is that when you need to have a very, very strong reminder. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala save us all.
Jazakallah khair, Shaykh. We're going to go to our next caller now. So, assalamu alaikum to our brother or sister. Welcome to the show. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam, sister.
I'm calling from Manchester.
Welcome to the show. And your question for us today?
Jazakallah khair. It's regarding Jummah, like today. Every Jummah, I'm on the edge, like walking on an eggshell kind of thing, thinking that this is a very precious day and I have to do lots of blessing on the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and read my surah and all this. So how can I calm myself down? And I feel very anxious on that day. I might not do much, but I'm worried. And I don't want to waste time on this, the best day of the week. So if Shaykh could help, Jazakallah khair.
Jazakallah khair, sister, and may Allah reward you for your concern to do things the right way, mashallah, and to fulfill the rights of Al-Jumu'ah. May Allah reward you.
Okay, so in one's excited state that they want to do as much good as they can on this blessed day of Friday Al-Jumu'ah, that it's now led you to be a little worried about that you don't think you're going to achieve what you want to achieve. What I would say is that every salah that you send upon the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, sallallahu alaihi biha ashara, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give you tenfold back. Every ayah that you recite from Surah Al-Kahf, the amount of letters, every letter you read is 10 hasanat, which is all extra for you. If you're unable to finish Surah Al-Kahf, there's no sin upon you. Rather, every letter that you recited, there is a reward for you, inshallah ta'ala. Every salam that you sent upon the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it should be a removal of anxiousness, removal of anxiety. This is one of the benefits of salah upon the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Yughfar al-dhanb, and it removes the anxiousness. So may Allah bless you, sister, and keep up the good work.
Thank you, Shaykh. Thank you so much to everyone who's tuned in so far today. This has come to the conclusion of our show, so tune in for the next show. For now, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.